to, when the president left Nigeria, he said that he was on some were saying he was on a health holiday. Some were saying, but he was saying that he was on a business, what do you call it? Yeah, he was still working, a working holiday. So
working holiday,
working
yes.
Holiday. Yes. So it was all, intend to make sure that the reshuffle of his cabinet will be such that it is not coerced or influenced by anybody. Do you think that when he left the country, came to the UK and went to France as well, he was able to do that? I mean, shut that nobody is going to be calling him, or was that what happened?
Well, I believe that that gave him a bit of room. That he will not have any interference, and that's mostly why most politicians travel outside the country so that they can be able not to be accessible, and that has always been the norm. And from that, maybe one or two key allies would travel to meet the president and try to see if bear with me, I believe there's a call trying to come through. Let's divert that call for now. Yeah, I think we're back on the screen with you. And you're quite right. While the president was away, he would have been looking into what to do with some of his ministers. Some of them are not performing enough, while some would like to keep, the same position as well. But despite the shake-up that affected 15 ministers, about 30 others were not affected. So only about 15 of his ministers, have been moved around, but 30 of them, survived. Minister swearing in ceremony at the conference hall. This was, in August last year, and it seems that a year down the line, the performances of some of the ministers have not been expected by the presidency. So President Bola Tinubu wielded his big stick yesterday, and like a surgeon in the theater, he used his surgical knife to yank off 5 ministers, redeployed 10, and appointed 7 fresh nominees, the ministers to replace the sacked ones, as well as 2 others. There was a particular one, Betty Edu, who was initially suspended, and Simon Lalong, who left his cabinet to join the Senate. What we can tell you now that Tinubu, the ex-governor, has now appointed 48 ministers in August last year, 3 months after his inauguration, similar or different to the former president Muhammadu Buhari, that took him 6 months to get his act together. The Senate immediately screened the confirmed minister. One of the ministers, Betty Edu, was suspended just at the early stage in January, while the ex-Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, that I met in London at Queen's Elizabeth Hall some few years ago, resigned to move to the upper legislative. Who are the new ministers? That is the focus now, because the previous ones we know, but the 7 ministers that we have on my screen is Dr. Yiwa Ted, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Remember that we talked about 129 million Nigerians are now subject to poverty. We also have Magari Dingayadi, that is now the Minister of Labor. That means that he will be looking into a lot of issues when it comes to, employment and unemployment. We have about 60% of Nigerians that are currently unemployed. We also have a new entrant, Bianca Ojukwu. I'm sure the name sounds familiar. Yes, it's still the same family to relate to, Ojukwu. She's been given the Minister of State Foreign Affairs. And we have Jumoke Oduwole that is going to take up the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Many Nigerians expect investors to come into the country. Tinubu has traveled with Shaitima to haul investors back into the country. How they're able to do that, the Minister, Jumoke Oduwole, will have a lot of work to do. Mutab Mahin, the Ministry of Livestock Development. Another area that many Nigerians are concerned is many livestock continue to eat up, the farmers' crops, and that is creating a lot of headache within, the state and the federal as well. And the last two is Yusuf Abdullahi, the Minister of State Housing and Urban Development. We know that when it comes to housing, even in the UK, there's a lot of pressure, but many Nigerians are living in many shanties locations across because many of them cannot afford a proper housing. And the last but not the least is Shuaibu Said, Minister of State Education. The education sector in Nigeria has become as worst as what it's meant to be, because remember that the government have not invested enough to support education system in the country. So those are the most important that we would probably be looking into maybe tomorrow because of the time constraint this morning. But 7 new ministers and the 15 others are now leaving for the entrance of new ones.
Well, let's start already. I'm just from Nigeria, Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI, in not London, and I'm actually here. Now, my apologies. Now let's look at it. What has been the, because we don't have enough time to break it on and look at the individuals, but what has been the reaction of Nigerians as a whole and people, I mean, from various communities? So you talk about Ojukwu, now there's somebody will look at where Ojukwu comes from and the fact that they come from that. So what have been the reactions if the Igbos think that, well, Ojukwu, his father, or maybe they are the ones who, I mean, fought.
I think there's lost the communication back to the studio, so we're pressed with time this morning. Try one more time, if not, then call it a shot. All right. Looks like there's a network glitch somewhere. Network glitch somewhere. Sure, what's going on? All right. Having a network glitch. Can't connect back to the studio. Let's give it one more shot and see. All right, got back.
Yummy. Just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Got it. So go straight again. Okay. Yomi, welcome back.
Yes, not sure. I think there was a network glitch there, but I think I'm back with you again.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And listeners, just bear with us. At times, when you're on move, there are some places where we have a bit of issue with the network system there. But definitely, somebody say it's better than what we see in Africa. And thank you very much for joining us. Now, I was asking the question pertaining to the reaction that is coming from various communities. I did talk about Juku's, whether they are daughter or somebody from their family without name. And I was asking how the Igbos would take an appointment of Ojuku's family, whether their daughter or this thing, to be there. I mean, what have been the reactions there so far?
Well, apart from the family of Ojuku, a lot of expectation, but most importantly, Betty Edo, that was, allowed to, to step aside in January, is one of the most important minister that has been, popping up on the social media this morning. So, according to this, Ando says Dr. Betty Edo is one of the unforgettable, incredible, indefatigable women in the progressive fold. If you think she deserves to be celebrated, send her a shout out, but show how much you care. Also, Reno, that has been one of the, the critics of other, even though he was a supporter of Atiku, did not get any appointment. And likewise, FFK and one other one that has also not been put into this, cabinet. So the reaction is still floating through. You talked about, the Ojuku, family this morning, and you're quite right. That is also trending. I'm going to give you, the reaction. The reaction is Ojuku contested and lost all our Southeast state. It is now his wife that will turn the tides. An ordinary minister of state. What is wrong with these Renus? Always thinking with their, I can't use the other word. You think Igbo people play Amala politics like you? This is reacting to another one that says Tinubu picked a minister from Ojuku's residence. This decision will make it difficult for the members of the IPOB and the Igbo community to aggressively criticize this government. Tinubu is a professional politician, so the other person is reacting to that as well. One more from, Dr. Dikbo Awojide. President Tinubu used one stone to kill three birds with the appointment of Bianca Ojuku. She has held a similar role previously and did a decent job. Second, this should further unite the country. Whether this will unite the IPOB to remain in one Nigeria, time will tell. But like I said, we will do more analysis of this because of the time constraint this morning. But one thing is, the reaction is coming in. And like I said, Reno Mokere, that a lot of people thought maybe Tinubu will give him a position, also posted yesterday, 12 hours ago, just 3 days after a political natir gave explanation for his congratulations to General Gowon. The political grandmaster has now appointed an Ojuku into the administration without any explanation. I've also seen the reaction from the government, Biafra exile and de facto government. But according to Neferati, Bianca Ojuku is a Nigerian and eminently qualified. Therefore, she can be on the cabinet. But that is just what is a cabinet. She is not a threat to Peter Obi, nor a chance in Anambra, the wider Southeast. So the reaction is floating through as one of the ministers that has been appointed by this government.
Well, if you think that the president is just trying to appoint or bring everybody onto the table, every representative, every community that's represented, let us know what you think about all that. But listen, let's start ready, okay, because we know Yomi is pressed with time. Now, let's talk about the Dangote refinery bringing petrol, selling petrol directly to marketers. And then the issue where on Monday, or I think either Friday or this, Dangote refinery taking NNPC and NDP, the other ones, to the courts and some other entities that they were importing finished products, some of the finished products for aviation fuel and some other fuel as well coming in. So the question is, when they now selling petrol to the marketers directly, is it going to bring the price down? But they were thinking that these people were sabotaging them.
Well, the price is not coming down as we speak right now, even though cited a document that was obtained by the Nigerian Port Authority shows that about 123.4 million liters of PMS were battered at two seaports to improve fuel supply nationwide. The development confirmed earlier that the dealers intended to import the commodity to supplement the supply of about $20 billion Dangote refinery. Meanwhile, all the major oil marketers import the commodity. Their counterparts have started lifting PMS directly from the Lekki-based plant. But we will monitor the situation maybe towards next week to see if prices comes down. But as I speak to you, as at Monday when I was with Chief before he traveled back to Germany, the wife was telling us that the petrol sales per liter was about 1,200 per liter. That means that if you look at when Jonathan was in power, that's about 65 naira per liter. That is about almost a lot of percentage on top of that. But in terms of the lifting of more crude oil from Dangote refinery, whether that will reduce the price, we'll be able to monitor that throughout the weekend and report back to you on Monday.
Okay, listen, let's start ready. Okay, now let's go to Yomi for other stories making the rounds and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
Well, we just pick one more story and then move straight to the social media because of the time constraint this morning. Most importantly, there's a meeting that will be held in November 7th, by some of the Yoruba kings, and there's now a concern by many that this meeting was put together to put back the Yoruba to remain in one Nigeria after, the great outing by Dr. Sunday Igboho delivering the letter at number 10 Downing Street. This meeting has been put together as to put pressure on the Yorubas to keep Nigeria together. And a lot of reaction are coming out in the last 48 hours about whether the Yoruba kings will be signing another amalgamation of the Yoruba into Nigeria. That will be something that we'll be discussing further tomorrow, but because there's a lot of reaction to that. Again, we go straight to the social media, the reaction of the change of cabinet, whether that will bring food to the table, whether that will improve education, whether that will improve investors to come into the country, time will tell. But one thing I can tell you that many Nigerians are monitoring a lot of the activities of this government, and so far, this government has not performed up to the expectation in the first year, a quarter into the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But again, the last one I'm going to pick is the Ogun State Command on Thursday says its operative have arrested one Afar Jubril, resided at number 8 in Moses Street in Agoiwoye, for again alleging defying a 12-year-old girl. We know that these happen frequently for spiritual purpose that they use it for, or also for what we can call a system that failed to work for a very long time. That is how far we can take this morning. Like I said, Mr. Archie will be taking you through the rest of the global trouting this morning. And I'll be back again tomorrow, God willing, where we'll be giving you all the updates on what is happening with the Yoruba campaign and also the self-determination and many other news coming out of Nigeria. But for now, I will hand you back again to Mr. Archie.